If you pick a college based on campus vibes without checking the cost, you are setting yourself up for a $100,000 financial crisis. Rote mimicry and passive waiting are why students graduate drowning in debt. The Cold War reality is that a college degree is a business transaction. It's not an emotional fairy tale. Your parents want to support you, but prestige is the most expensive insecurity in America. If you enter this conversation completely blind, your future stability will slide. All right? So let's go over a script framework for this conference to have this conversation with your parents with maturity. Don't bring this up while your parents are distracted or while they're stressed. Schedule a specific time, sit down with your parents with a notebook containing actual tuition data and use these words. Hey, mom, dad, can we sit down for a second? I really want to talk about how we're going to pay for college. I don't want to get stuck with a ton of student loans, and I definitely don't want it to be a financial burden on you guys. Can we look at the actual cost together so I know our real honest budget, so I know what our real honest budget is before I get my hopes up on the school? All right? In the structure of being, knowing, and doing, this action will shift you from a demanding dependent to now a strategic partner in your own success. It forces a collaboration response instead of an anxious reaction. So for the squad, we see so many students choosing their entire life, their entire future based on emotional marketing and campus optics rather than real financial metrics, things that are actually going to stick with you. Knowing this, how do we break a student out of that pattern of emotional fairy tale planning and force them to step up as strategic partners in their family's financial reality before they sign away $100,000?
Man, this is so powerful because I think there's two things. One, parents don't need to put everything off on children, but two, children need to know what's going on. And I think it's interesting because some people think to protect my kids, I don't want to talk about money, right? And the reality is to help your kids, you need to talk about money. If you don't talk about money the same way you don't talk about the birds and bees with your kids, somebody else is going to. And they're going to think, oh, my mom, my dad, my guardian, they let me down because they didn't expose me to these things. And so kids need exposure. And so part of exposure is going through that family budget with them. And if you're a student listening to this and your family hasn't done that, try to approach it in an unoffensive way or inoffensive way. I guess that'll be inoffensive, right? Is, hey, mom, dad, uncle, aunt, guardian, whoever is responsible for you, I need to talk with you about my future. And part of that, I know we don't have a lot, but what do you think about this plan? And just try to get their involvement. They might not have all the answers for you because they didn't go to college or because they're not as financially literate. And maybe you got exposed to more. And that's okay. That doesn't mean they're stupid. That doesn't mean you have to dislike them. It's just that you got exposed to more. The curriculum has changed over time. Schools have changed over time. So now they're teaching these things more. But you need to get with somebody who can give you some solid advice on how to make your next steps.
Oh, I got an easy way, bro. It's no problem. Solve it right here. Do the same thing y'all did with my niece Maya. Bring on them to show them the actual cost. And what she say? I am not going to be in generational debt. It costs that much? I'm not going there. I'm going to Memphis. She said, forget Alabama. Once she saw that, once she see the cost, she's talking about $50,000 a year. No, sir. I'm not doing that. That's all you need to show people the cost and show how much it's gonna cost them to pay it back, and then also show them the cost of going. But then going there and you can probably find some interesting that can show them how long it's gonna take them to pay off that debt and how much they're gonna be out their check every month. Bro, that'll change anybody's thought because I like A&M, but I think the difference is what 30,000 and 15,000 between A&M and what's it called? U of H. I think it's something like that. One's 15,000, one's 20 something, 30,000. So you have to make a decision and show the kids, yes, I know you want to go there, but this is how much you have to pay back, and I'm not helping.
Man, that difference is a 2017 Honda Civic LX. That's the difference right there. You can get something to drive after you get a job. But thank you so much for that, Festus and Daniel. And Daniel, the Amaya is a perfect case study because your niece was in high school and she was getting ready to go to college. And she was caught up in those lights. She was the allure of campus life of University of Alabama. I remember it. I remember looking at it. They send these really pretty pamphlets, nice color pamphlets. Students all doing the same thing, smiling, ha ha, walking down campus and whatnot. Man, it looks beautiful. It's great. Don't get me wrong. But is that those pictures, is it worth the cost and the stress and the anxiety that you're going to be left with after you've paid for this education? It's not. And she was just an awesome kid because she saw it quick. She saw it early on. She said, oh, no. and when you have someone like that who can easily see that, oh, I'm going to be responsible for this, it does a lot. And so what happened? Quick into solution building, right? We're going to stay in town. We're going to stay in state. There's some things we can do with my dad, this and that. Got a couple scholarships, boom. Now you graduated and you're on your way to get your master's in nursing, right? Very limited debt, as opposed to you'll get your bachelor's, but the amount of the load that you're going to have with you is going to be so heavy, right? So wonderful point. All right, students. I'm challenging every single student in the EduCeps Nation right now to execute this conversation I just gave you before. This upcoming Sunday night, remember, make sure they're not stressed, make sure they're comfortable, you're able to actually talk to them, look them in the eye. Stop hiding from the numbers, young people. Ride the bicycle of life without the safety wheels of denial. It's better to do it now than years down the road so you're not making regrets, right? If you're bold enough to run the script this week, type talk in the comments right now to unlock our free LYS costs, our free LYS ebook, 10 things every student should know before they leave high school. Make sure you subscribe for more information, all right? For Festus and Daniel, for Daniel Hill, I'm Olay Shorunke. Thank you for listening to this latest episode of Steps for Success, powered by Aladdin Your Success. Festus, go ahead and hit it with the phrase it pays.
So listen up, y'all. There are legitimate excuses for not going to college. There's no legitimate excuse for not getting an education. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode.